What's up? How's it going, everyone? I want to give you guys a rundown as to how I trade the MU today. Here's a screenshot of my MU trades and how I trade Apple today. And here's a screenshot of my Apple trades. So to get started, the first thing I want to always go over is understand the overall trend, right? When you're trading, you kind of want to play in the direction that the overall stock is going. Whether you're trading futures for like Qs, right? You want to trade the overall trend. If you're trading the SPY, you want to trade the trend of the SPY, right? So in this case, I'm trading MU. So again, it's very important in terms of stock selection as to how I figure out what stock I want to trade for the day and just understand the trend, right? So for me personally, I do like trading to the long side more than the short side. I feel like I just have more success at the upside, and equities in general tend to be more bullish, and so do good stocks. So it just comes down to finding yourself an entry point, right? So the reason why I did choose MU to trade today was the fact that we opened inside of yesterday's range and we are riding above the 20-day here. So the intermediate term moving average is a 20 EMA here, which is this orange line, and we are pointing and sloping to the upside. Whereas also the 9 and the 5 EMA are also sloping to the upside, right? So because I understand that the short-term trend is bullish, so is the intermediate trend is bullish, right? That just gives me an overall a comfort of understanding, okay, like we are strong right now. All I have to do is find myself a long entry, right? So it's a very simple setup here. The first thing that I like to do in the beginning of the session is mark out like my Friday's high, Friday's low. So like my interest area is a Friday high right here where we did tag to the T, and my Friday's low, it's about right here, right? And we are opening closer to the upper end of yesterday's range on the upper side. So, then again, that's another confirmation for me seeing like, okay, Friday's high is probably a better target than targeting Friday's low, especially in the uptrend, right? We want to play to the upside. So another thing I did mark out was this opening print area. So that's the first price that a stock is traded at, right? So in this case, the opening print was 42.6.5. When I saw that we caught like an initial small rally to the upside and we caught a pullback and retested the opening print, this right here was basically my entry. My risk was below the low of day and a failure to hold the opening print, and my target was simply the prior day's high, right? If you look at my contract, it literally shows that I exited perfectly at the prior day's high. There wasn't any luck to that. It's just very systematic trading, right? Grinding with the overall trend, grinding with the opening print, seeing what the price pattern is, right? What's my trend? Bullish. What's my level? The opening print, right? What's my target? The prior day's high, right? So trend level signal. What's my way in, right? The 2-minute bar. So that itself was my MU trade. Very straightforward. And then we'll quickly go over my Apple trade. Another reason why I really liked Apple too for today of why I traded it is because if you take a look at like the other stocks, right? Let's take a look at Microsoft, right? Microsoft has been lagging. If you take a look at Amazon, right? Amazon stock has been somewhat lagging. If you take a look at Google stock, right? Google stock caught a nice pump off that 100 SMA right here on this yellow line, but it's basically still lagging, right? But if you take a look at even Q's itself, right? Q's itself has been lagging, right? Nvidia, Nvidia is holding up pretty well, I would say. But let's take a look at back to Apple, I guess. But overall, what I'm trying to say is that what has been working and has been showing strength versus what is lagging, right? And in this case, Apple, right, itself has been showing strength, right? We reclaimed the 50-day, we reclaimed the 100-day. The shorter term moving averages, the 5 and the 9, are crossing to the upside, so it's bullish, right? So again, let's simply mark this out. So I marked out my priorities high, right, which is essentially my target for this trade. So priority high, priority is low, right? Priority is low, which is marked out right there, right? Like, so just tell me in this case, right? Let's just switch to a bigger time frame. In this very case right here, if we get a huge ride to the upside and we just somewhat sold off, consolidated, and you saw this chart, right? It's pointing to the upside, right? Would you try to short this? So would you try to short if you had two options, right? And the market just opened? Would you try to short this looking for priorities low, or would you try to find your way along looking for priorities high, right? It's like pretty self-explanatory for me that if the trend is bullish, right, we pull back, consolidate a little bit, chill out for a little bit, next day, rally back up. For me, I'm looking for entries long. So let's break down where I longed, right? So my first long was actually 2 minutes into the open, relatively pretty early entry. But the reason why I did take this entry was because once he rallied, I did somewhat take entry into this red bar as we kind of pulled back. And the thesis here was that I was willing to risk this pre-market low area where if I did take a long at 271s and I risked about 270, right? what? I'm risking a dollar versus what? 4 point move, 4 point move to the upside. So it's 1 to 4 risk reward, right? Risk reward is great. So my initial entry is right here based off of that screenshot that you saw earlier in this session. And I ended up taking another entry on this pullback long right here. Take a look right here. If we mark out this opening print area, so remove that. Let's just mark out the opening print. Opening print is right here, right? So let's make this line nice and thick. Opening print is right here, right? Rallied, pulled back below it, and then got dip bought right back up, right? So you can see that we had a 2-minute buy signal on the break above the opening print, ride to the upside, right? Simply this, what I saw here, I literally marked it out while I was trading, was a potential higher low to the upside. So pulled back, potential higher low to the upside. Once it confirmed this break of this level here, the higher low was broken, right? Market structure is very simple. We're trading to the upside. So I ended up taking off my calls, I think 2 calls around right here, or 3 calls around right there, and then I was managing on the 5-minute at this time. And I ended up taking off my last contract right here. So simply, again, I'm using very simple levels: priority high, priority low, opening print, right? And just intraday trend. That's all it is. Keeping it nice and simple, because there's no point to overcomplicate trading. Just got to keep it simple. And yeah, that was my recap for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Look forward to, I'll probably upload some more educational content down the line, but as of now, I'm just going to continuously post my recap videos, as not only is it beneficial for myself to, just review what I was looking for, and to, build my own confidence by just seeing that, like I am trading properly, right? Um, but yeah, just some more recap videos, potentially some educational videos. I know my following isn't the biggest right now, and I'm probably just talking to myself essentially, but you got to start somewhere. But yeah, I just want to share more educational content out there and continuously show my trades that I am taking, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.